Thank you, Sherry. I even had a note to mute my mic. I just need to stop muting it in the beginning. I apologize. Hi, Sherry, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I am a complete dingus. Oh, my goodness. I am so sorry. Oh, my gosh. How annoying. Welcome, as I've said already, but you didn't hear. So welcome, welcome, welcome to my Moonlit studio. I'm so glad that you're here. And how are you doing? How are you doing, Sherry? Thank you so much again for being here. And I will have to try to edit that part out. I'll repost this video and edit out this stupid part. What I was saying was, I am ready for fall. I don't like to rush time, but I'm just ready for cooler weather. It's been like a really hot summer, so I'm ready for some cool weather. And I love the changing leaves and just the sweatshirts and the jeans, and I love Halloween, and yeah, so I'm super stoked about that. The kids went back to school where I live, so anyways, I am excited to have my live today. I wasn't able to have it yesterday, so I'm excited to be here tonight. And I'm asking the question, have I been sketchbooking wrong? And the answer is a resounding no. Of course not, because there's no perfect way to keep a sketchbook, right? But I started the Moonbeam Sketchbook Guild kind of as a way to kind of be accountable to having a sketchbook practice. And I have done that because I do have different books where I have had concepts, where I've practiced, where I've done different things, but I haven't really been sharing that aspect with you guys. And I have shown you drawings and different things that I've done in the sketchbook that I've been sharing, but I kind of had a revelation that is more of an art book, right? Because all the images and the drawings and the paintings, they're all fully rendered, which I absolutely love, and I am in no way abandoning that whole process. But I wanted to begin an actual sketchbook, a separate sketchbook for the concepts, for the studies I want to do. Like, I want to learn how to how do I create a brass look because of a painting that I'm doing in the art book, to kind of see what colors I need and how to work all that out. So, and then just for other concepts, I've got like whatever the theme maybe is for the month. Maybe I want to really practice one of those elements. And then if I really like that concept, then of course I can bring it in and then carry it further in my art book. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, because I had also thought, oh, okay, well, I can just start sketching in the art book, the guild sketchbook that I've been working on. But I was like, there's no way I could do that because I have so much completed work in there. I would be so afraid to mess it up. And I feel like that is one of the issues that we can have, maybe I can have, is when I have a sketchbook I'm going to share with people, I'm like, ooh, I don't want to show the ugly stuff, or the incomplete drawings, or just things that maybe I don't like how they turned out or whatever. But I think that's kind of the whole idea of the sketchbook, right? So I want to share that process as well. So what I have here, I'll change my view in a second, but I have this little sketchbook that I have determined is going to be just my Sketchbook Guild sketchbook. But I did want to take a minute to show you what kind of what some of my sketchbooks have looked like behind the scenes for things that I have created in my my guild art book, if you will. So I'm going to change my view to show you both my face and my art. So it's funny because I was actually going to use this sketchbook as my guild sketchbook because I thought the cover was really pretty, but I'm glad I didn't. It's very thin, like kind of not great paper, and it fell apart. Like it just fell apart. So I'm so glad I didn't use it. So I've been working on I've been working on several pages in my book, but one of them is what lives between the pages. And I was just going to show you, like, I was trying to sketch something. I just grabbed a piece of paper, oops, upside down, and literally just sketched that way. So sometimes it's just a matter of getting a piece of paper and throwing it on there. But if you've been here for a while, like, you'll know I did a video where I created this, but I sketched it all out here first. And then this was kind of my little, I can't remember what I called it, but the magical mushrooms page or whatever. Like, this was an idea for what things that glow. And then this was an idea for another bunny besides Pip, which was on that first page. So it's just like, this is some little things that I drew because of another page. So I for this, so I kind of worked it out, and then I put it onto a better piece of paper. And I do that after I sketch things out how I really like them. I use my light box, or I'll use transfer paper to put it on my paper that I want to be able to render, and then it's not all messy with all the erase lines, because I don't tend to like that if it's going to be a fully like watercolor picture or something like that, because once you paint over it you can't erase the lines. So anyway, so this is a perfect example of things that I've done where I'm just kind of practicing. Like, here's where I practice flicker, the first flicker, I have a new flicker. But yeah, so this was the tree house that I made for the fairies. So this is a drawing I was working on that I didn't end up liking. So yeah, so I do have sketchbooks. I just haven't shown you. Like, here's some other ones. Like, this was a unicorn I was working on but didn't get to do it. This was my first idea for the Moongate portal. And then I came up with this one. So yeah, it's just been, I have these books, but now I want to start kind of taking you on that journey with me. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Sherry, do you have a sketchbook, and are you afraid to mess up the pages like I am? And anybody else, if you watch the replay, I would love to know if you're like me and you're really afraid to mess up. So this is another sketchbook that I have that I call it a sketchbook, but it's another one. It was kind of my pen and ink sketchbook, but it's another one where I feel like I want it to still look pretty, like organized. But I do have some pages in here that I don't like, that I don't love, like this one. I was just messing around, which is totally fine. I was trying different ways of coloring in with pen and ink. So I learned a lot, like, this is a crazy page. I used just a big fat, marker, Sharpie marker. And I was practicing with gouache, and I was having fun with plants. And then here I was using different colored, like, ink pens or markers. So this, like, I hate this page. I hate this page. But I was practicing facades and buildings, and here I was practicing flowers. So like I said, I have a ton of sketchbooks here. I started this and I didn't like it. I abandoned it. So I was like, and I think that's the whole point of a sketchbook, right? You're like, I don't like how that's turning out. Let me try something different. I did like this. Here I was trying some, I didn't really finish them, but I was getting the idea of how to draw stuff. So anyway, so I just wanted to kind of share some, like, this was, I saw on a towel actually, but I thought it would be fun just to replicate it. Again, she's fully rendered and she's not even pen and ink. This is watercolors. So yeah, I actually have a YouTube video of this if you're interested. But yeah, just messing around. So I do have these sketchbooks. I just don't tend to always take you along with me on those things. So my whole goal is to do that. So I ended up, this is going to be my new Moonbeam Guild actual sketchbook, right? Where I will share with you. Sometimes I'll actually sketch in here with you. I have been sketching. Some of you know that I went traveling over last weekend. I was actually in Chicago. I'm going to make a little video about that later, but I brought this little sketchbook with me and I did do some sketching. Now, the sketches I've done in here so far are still kind of pretty, if you will, but I was trying to work something out for, I'll give you a little, I think I've talked about him a little bit before, but Whispering Pages has a resident cat and his name is Quill. And I have been working on his concept for what I really want him to look like. I want him to be, oh, hi Rosie Gnome, thanks for being here. I want him to be chubby, and my cat, I kind of want him to have like the same markings as my cat, but my cat also has this like weird eye thing. So the Whispering Pages cat is only gonna have one eye, and then he has, so I'll show you what I've kind of come up with. But yeah, so I've been starting to work some stuff out. I sometimes will leave this first page blank. It's kind of flimsy, but I also wanted to share, I want this book to feel lived in. I can do whatever I want with it. I can hate a page, I can love a page. If I want to fully color something in with, graphite or whatever, then I could totally do that too. There are no rules for it. So I invite you, if you feel like it. I wanted to do one little pocket page. Maybe I'll do more, but I really like the idea of the pocket pages that I started this month in my other book. So I wrote myself a little permission slip because, as I said, I really struggle with wanting to not mess up a book. The other books I showed you, like, I knew that they're just going to be whatever, right? But to share it with someone and show the real of mistakes, quote unquote mistakes or whatever, that's not always easy to do. So let me turn on another light. There we go. So I wrote myself a little permission slip and I wanted to share it with you. And I invite you to also do the same thing if you would like to. And I'm actually gonna type up what I wrote here over on Patreon. It'll be free for anyone to access that's a member, and you can be a free member. But I wanted to share what I wrote. I said, I, Emily, give myself permission to follow the spark of exploration, experimentation, and creativity. That's gonna be a theme. You can remember that. This sketchbook is allowed to feel lived in, like I said. Every page does not need to be polished, pretty, or finished. I am free to play, make mistakes, change my mind, try something weird, and just follow an idea because it interests me or I want to learn more about it. Some pages may be messy, some beautiful, and some might be both. There is nothing to ruin in here. Explore, experiment, create. Love, Emily. So that's what I put in here, and I'm going to keep that tucked in here at the very beginning of my little book. I've already glued some other pages in. I feel like sometimes I might want to draw on a colored piece of paper. Sometimes the pages are kind of thin. It's moving forward, I'll kind of, probably change the type of sketchbook I use. This one is fine. I actually like the size. I never usually liked the small size, but I feel like it's not so overwhelming. Oh, Sherry says, nice idea of the pocket page. I will definitely do it. Oh, good. Love that, Sherry. Love. I have a video where I created this page, and then I actually have a video where I created this pocket page as well. I'm just figuring this out, by the way, so just so you know. But I will say this pocket page turned out better because I took the paper and I kind of folded it and then glued part of it, so I made it so it could be thicker and not so skinny where I couldn't really get my hand in there. So I'm getting better, I'm learning more. I have watched some videos, so yes, it's a fun idea. But what I was saying is it doesn't lay completely flat, and I don't always like that. So like when I'm drawing on this page, it kind of wants to flip up. That being said, I do sometimes use, grab one, like binder clips to where I can clip it, and then it kind of holds it down. And then a friend of mine gave me these little guys, and they're kind of cool because you can kind of clip some pages together, and then it helps it kind of stay a little bit flat too. But I want to be able to do whatever I want. So if I want a colored piece of paper, if I want to, I just want it to feel however I want it to feel. So I decided, like I did this page, I decided to put this here, which I actually guess I could have wrote my little, but I wanted my note in my pocket. Maybe I'll write a little letter to myself or something that I can look back on later, maybe an accomplishment or something like that. But here I started drawing some concepts for chubby cats to be Quill. Quill is a working name. I kind of thought Fitzy named him, and he I thought kind of a bookish idea would be cute. But again, sometimes as I'm drawing my little characters or whatever, they tell me their names. I'll have a name idea and then it changes. So that's a-okay. Or sometimes I'll have the name and then create what I think that they would look like. So I did that, and then another really fat cat, and then this month, September, which I'm going to give a tiny little sneak peek of that if you stick around to the end. But this is kind of a hint. I wanted to practice. A lot of times when I do like the bottles, like a potion bottle or something, I do like the round circle-y one, or it's like kind of straight. I really thought this shape would be cool, so I just wanted to kind of try it out. I actually do like it quite a bit, so I'm glad I tried it. But it is still, these are kind of fairly, not fully rendered, but enough to where I put in shadows and things like that. It's not just quick sketches necessarily. I drew out of my mind, which, yikes, at the train station when I was waiting for my train last weekend. So I like how she turned out. I'm kind of working on a concept of, like a steward of Moon Hollow Forest, if you will. I'm still kind of figuring out who she is, but this was just kind of a quick, I want her to be kind of naturey and everything. So I was trying to decide what kind of crown she might want. I like to have braids. I'm not great at drawing braids, as you can see, but it was just kind of a placeholder. This is where I'm kind of working out the concept. So, and then I like glued in a piece of paper that's pink. So I feel like sometimes adding other papers could be nice too, because the papers, they're kind of thin. And then another thing I may end up doing is sometimes putting a piece of like tracing paper or something over the top of them if there's a lot of graphite, because it's kind of hard to see. But like this page has already kind of transferred to this page. So that is one thing that can happen. Like this page already also has like smudges. You can almost make out the outline of the cats on this page. So that's something I'll just kind of think about moving forward. But I really like the idea of having this book and sharing more of that aspect as well. That being said, having my little check-in sheets and things like that have really helped me, even if I'm working in this book, because it's still a way that I'm checking in. It's still a way that I'm being creative. It's still a way that I'm arting, right? And like I said, there have been videos and different things I've done where I am sharing my drawing as I'm doing it. So it's not like I never share that stuff, but I just want this to be kind of a separate thing, as I've explained. But I wanted to show you a couple of things. One being, this is a creative check-in sheet for August. I wanted it to be very bookish, so it really reminds me of like the due date cards you have in the front of a book. But anyway, so I've been really, really proud of myself this month. I think so far I've only missed 2 days, and one of them I think I might have been traveling, and I'm not even sure if that was one. One was this past Tuesday. It was a crazy day, and I just ended up vegging out, and I was a-okay with that because I had worked in it all the other days, so totally fine. But it's been fun to kind of write what I worked on, and just be able to look back and be like, wow, I really did spend some time creating. And that was one of the whole reasons I created the guild in the first place. Like I said, I wanted to be a little bit more accountable, and not always feel, because what I was getting in this trap of like I had to work on these on like amazing pieces of paper, and I had to always like finish the drawing or the painting that day. This has given me like a way to where I don't feel so pressured, like, oh my gosh, I have to get it done today or whatever. It's like, no. And it's been fun to have a concept every month, because then that kind of can direct me into maybe things that I might want to draw, or if there's things I know I want to draw, I can make the concept kind of fall in line with those things. So it's just that's why I've done it, and it's really helped me. So I was going to flip through some of these pages as well, in case you haven't been here before. But I always like to show this one, because this is the page, the Cosmic Garden page. I need to put a little piece of paper in between. This was, I did in a different sketchbook, but this page is where the idea stemmed from for the Moonbeam Sketchbook Guild. And I love this page, but it was like it was in a different sketchbook. So I was like, I really want it in this sketchbook. So I carefully cut it out and then glued it in here. So, but yeah, this was kind of what started it. And then I thought, if we were going to do that, then let's make a little portal into the sketchbook. So this was my kind of moon gate portal that I created, and I absolutely love it. But this page I worked on for like a week, and I'm okay with that. Like, where I used to would have been like rushed to get something done or whatever. And what I found when I do that is that I don't always like how it feels rushed. So when I do this, I kind of let the ideas marinate in my brain. So it's been kind of fun to be able to take my time with some stuff, even if it's in a sketchbook. But in this, like I said, is more of an art book, but it's also still a sketchbook. So as I'm doing things and creating things in here, even though they're fully rendered, I'm trying different colors. I'm trying maybe using watercolors instead of something else, so that if I want to actually recreate it on a really nice piece of paper, or to, be able to hang up or teach a class or whatever it may be, I've kind of worked all those details out as well. So I feel like both books serve a purpose, right? But I feel like I want to be able to start sharing the other part of it. So, and then this was the little mushroom page, and this is Jubilee. If you don't know her, she's amazing. But yeah, so I just, I wanted to do, this was for Faye May. She's going to be returning next month. But I'm going to be creating a new concept for her, because this is from a reference that I was paid for to use. Totally could. And I could totally use her in a book or something if I wanted to. But I want to make her my own. So I'm going to, take some ideas from this, as far as the way she, like her look, if you will, her personality. But I'm going to create my own version. So that'll be something that I'll be working on. Like I wanted to work on like drawing mermaids and things. I only ended up drawing this mermaid because she took me like, I don't know, several days to finish. So, which is fine. But again, if I was working in my sketchbook, then I would have been able to kind of create more mermaids, if you will. So it's, like I said, it's kind of like one or the other. Like, I love this page. This was fun. I have a tutorial about this. So I got to try gel crayons. It's, again, something I don't use all the time. So having it and getting to try this concept and really loving this page, if I wanted to, I could recreate it and then have it be something maybe I would want to sell or whatever it may be. This is actually one page that I did do on actual really nice watercolor arches, cold pressed watercolor paper, because I knew that I wanted to do some like wet on wet watercolors, and you cannot do that on mixed media paper, and that's what my guild's art book is. So this took me like a week. So again, which is totally fine, and I took you along with me for some of it, but it was funny because she made me uncomfortable because I used colors that I don't necessarily always use like coral and trying to create the coral because there's no like coral color that I found that was like in a tube or whatever. But I learned a lot with this, and I'm so glad that I did it, you know. And this is a sea corn, that's what I call it, and her name is Coral. Rosie Gnome says, I love that one. Thank you. Me too. She's adorable. But she's another one where I created this. I created her myself. But if I was going to add her like to a book or something like that, and she was going to be in lots of pages, I would have to probably simplify her a little bit. But I love her so much. This is Jubilee. If you were here for, what was it, July, we had the Enchanted Garden Party, and she was the hostess of that. But this is fully rendered. Now, I did draw her tiny, you saw, and then in one of my other sketchbooks, I drew her several other times. So until I kind of worked this out. And even this, it's fully rendered, but there are things that I would change or enhance or try to do something a little bit different. But she has your little invitation to the garden party. And like this one, I was trying new things using gel crayons and stuff. So again, I used this book and I learned some stuff, and there is a video of this, but this is a reference. So I did want to have this fish called Sushi. So I've recreated Sushi and drew a new one in my own version so that I can have Sushi be a part of Moon Hollow Forest. So turn this. I also want to say something about this style of sketchbook, the one that does like opens this way instead of this way. I think after this one is done, I will move to the ones that open like this, because sometimes I think it would be cool to have like a whole spread like on both pages. I don't hate this because I do like that it can lay really flat, but I just don't like how it always has to flip up like that. So I always have to be working with it like this because there's not enough room for me to open it. Anyways, just a side tangent there. And then, okay, so then this page is of the entrance to Jubilee's Enchanted Garden Party. So like this is what I imagine her. She loves gardening, she loves baking, she loves having parties, she loves all these things. And so I worked on this page for like 2 weeks or something, like forever. But I worked on it when I had time, and I was proud of myself because I gave myself the space to work on it when I could, to work on it when I was inspired, instead of rushing it to get it done by the end of the month or something like that, which I did have it done by the end of July. But it was, you know, this is a lot, but I friggin' love this page. I love it, love it, love it. I love the colors. I love everything about it. So there was that. And then we made our own little tea party, or teacups, which was really fun. And then this is another one where I was creating the actual tea party, if you will, like in this clearing. Like the other drawing, you would go around the corner, and then this is where you would come out. And then this is where, like, one seat was supposed to be for us, and then one seat is like have a character. But the way I had imagined it was I would bring this when it was finished. It's almost finished. I'm almost finished. Like into Canva, and then pop my little characters in here instead of drawing them in this time. Anyways, that way I could use this page if I would like to in some other way. But I still have, some stuff to do, but it's getting there for sure. And I used some cute little elements, like, again, this is my book, right? I can do whatever I want. And I'm a mixed media artist, as what I always say. So these are like little cutesy little stickers, and they kind of stick up a little bit, but I think they're super cute. So I decided to use those for like the little teapot and the little teacups. And then there's a couple little flowers here that I also used. So this is very close to being done. I have a few more little design elements to do, but I've been working on this for, well, I started it back in July. So, but then a new month happened, and so I've been working on Whispering Pages things as well. So it's just kind of, I've been bouncing back and forth with whatever I feel inspired to work on, and that's one thing that I absolutely love about this. And then if you've been here before, you'll know that I taught a quirky bird class and was so inspired by this one bird that I created for Pride Month. Sorry. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need a bird. I need this cute bird that would live in Moon Hollow Forest. And as I developed her, her story developed. And she's this amazing quirky bird who is so happy, and she loves spreading joy and cheer and glitter. Glitter, 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 glitter is her whole friggin' thing. One of my characters' name is Xander, and he carries around a mushroom umbrella because he doesn't want to get skittled. But Skittle gets around that. She just lands right in front of him, and when she lands, glitter just goes everywhere anyway. So it's kind of funny. But anyways, like her glasses have glitter. These are like little glitter pots. There's glitter inside there. And she has a little bag of glitter, and then these are full of glitter. So, but this is a fully rendered painting on actual watercolor paper, because I had drawn her several times before and painted her other versions. But this is my own drawing, my own concept, not the birds that I taught in a class. I wanted to create my very own version, and her name is spelled Skilttz because I don't want to get trademarked or whatever for the candy. And then, okay, so then let me show you this. This is the drawing, but I didn't show you how I got here, but this is Sushi, my new drawing of him and my own little creation of him. And there's a few things I might change. Like, I think this is probably a little bit too long, but he's so cute. And I can't wait to have the time to paint him in. And then let me backtrack for just a second. I promise I will get to some art today, but you know what? This is fun. Okay, so so like I showed you the drawing before. This was my original, I wanted to draw a dragon for Faye May, and I decided that maybe he was this fairy's like companion, her. So I named him Flicker, but Flicker has evolved, and I wanted to create my own version of Flicker because, again, this was a reference. I was like, no, I want this. And I started imagining him like he was talking to me, and he is different than this. So I designed my own, and he now looks like this. And I freaking love him, and I have decided that he is my emotional support dragon. So I love these colors, but this, I was working out the concepts, and I wasn't sure what colors I wanted to use. I knew I wanted to do turquoise, I thought. I used ink. I think I'm going to use watercolor next time. But Echo, which is a cute bat who is really good friends with the Skittles, did his hair and his tail, and then he has a little bit of glitter because of that reason, and then he loves pastries, so I gave him a cupcake, and there's just a little bit of glitter on that as well. But I took my time creating this concept because the dragon concept originally was way back in May, so I've just taken my time, and I've thought about who he is, and he's super sweet, and everybody loves him, and he's always wants pastries, but he's a dragon, right? So he will light you on fire if you hurt his friends and family, so keep that in mind. And then I drew some treats, and these were really fun too. But this was when Whispering Pages started, and I really wanted to start doing pocket pages in order to keep little keepsakes and things that I might gather throughout the month to be able to keep my tracker. So I've just been sliding that right in here, and then I have it with me, which I thought was really cool, and I wished I would have. Oh, Rosie Gnome says he makes me smile. Yes, Flicker makes everybody smile, I think. But yeah, so I was like, I really wish I would have started that before, which is why I created this pocket page on the front. But I learned a valuable lesson when I created this one, but I'm still glad that I did it. Each time I've done it, it's gotten a little bit better. But for this is a page right here, and I bought these postcards when I was at the Art Institute Museum this past weekend. So I was like, oh, her artwork's going to be there starting in September, but I won't be there. But I thought, what a great place to, I freaking love this painting so much. The way they got the light, like the light, it's amazing. But anyway, so I thought, why don't I just keep those in there for now? And then this is my little Whispering Pages, Friend of Whispering Pages card from Fitzgerald Page Turner. So this is the page I think I'm going to work on tonight if I ever shut up. And this is my What Lives Between the Pages page, where I kind of gathered some elements of books that I really love, that I've read more than once, or that just kind of spoke to me, and then also elements that I like when I'm reading, or that I can imagine I would want, like if I'm feeling cozy. And then this is Fitzgerald's chair. Like this, I imagine him having this big, comfy, like lived in satin chair with like a big pillow and then a cozy blanket. So like I imagine this being by the fireplace in Whispering Pages. So each thing, like I said, represents something, one of those things. And my camera's crooked. Sorry, let me straighten that out. There we go. So yeah, I'm not going to say what's what, but, you know, it's been fun. So I think I might work on this evening. I want to do some shading. And then I have these, which I thought would be fun, because I thought a way to be very Moonbeam Jellyfish, very me, to kind of connect them in different ways was maybe to like use like these cute little stars, where I could have them kind of being connected that way. Just an idea that I have. I used one of these for this, which I thought was cute. So you don't have to just draw everything by, you know, freehand if you don't want to. Sometimes it's fun to use little stencils and things like that. But this is what I think I'm going to be working on. And I thought this is another thing where I was like, ooh, what can I do? Because I love the textures. Like that's one of the reasons I love like being a traditional artist and not you know, like a digital artist, because I love the tangible feel of things. So originally I was like, oh, I'll have like I was just gonna glue a book page right here. And then I was thinking one day, I was like, what if I made it look like a book and then could draw elements, you know, not necessarily coming out of it, but that would like portray the idea that it would have to do with a book. And then it actually ended up giving me some little pockets that I hadn't even thought about. Not all of them I can open, but I was like, oh, so cute. So, you know, I love it. And I didn't know if it would work, but I tried it in a sketchbook and it did. Okay, this is going to be the last page I show you, and then I'll come back to this. But I referenced Fitzgerald Page Turner of the Windbag Clan. And we're questioning if maybe I'm related to him somehow because I never shut up. But he is the keeper of Whispering Pages, which is this adorable place in Moon Hollow Forest where there's a big fireplace and there's reading nooks and there's a cat and it smells of like, you know, paper and cinnamon because Jubilee brings her baked goods, and there's always a kettle on for hot tea, and people love to just meet there, or the residents love to meet there, and you can talk if you want to. You don't have to talk. It's a place that people are invited to and they feel safe, and it's always like the right temperature. But he is the one that is the keeper of it, and he lives above it, above Whispering Pages. So I started his concept, like thinking about who would run, or who would be the keeper, if you will, of Whispering Pages. And I kept thinking about it, and then one day I was working out at the gym and I was like, it has to be a troll. And I thought the juxtaposition of a troll being in a book, you know, a book it's not a bookshop, but a book, we'll say bookshop, bookstore, whatever, book place, book library, would be hilarious, because I imagine him knocking stuff over all the time. But he loves books. He's well traveled. He left his home because he didn't want to live in a cave, and he just loves reading and storytelling. So I imagine him having a book club and reading to people and like all those things. So this is my concept. I started painting him this week. I love him so much. He's like, he tries to be groomed a little bit, if you will. So he tries to do something with his beard, but his shirt's too big. He's had it forever, or too small, I mean. His little belly hangs out. His hair's kind of crazy. But his glasses and his belt buckle, I want to look like brass, not gold, like more of a worn, like he's had it for a long time. His glasses, he loses them all the time, but I want them to kind of have this brass look to them, if you will. So I don't really know how to create that. So in my sketchbook, I don't have to just use graphite in here. I'm going to bring in some colored pencils or maybe some markers and figure out what colors to use to create that. And then I'll bring it in here and finish them up. And then I've also started gluing some paper on the back of some of the pages, because again, it gives it a little bit more durability, sturdiness. I think I did that for this one too, because I don't like to draw, especially in this type of book, on the other side, because it's up here. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it. And it's my book, so there you go. So that's kind of where I'm at with all that. So I will probably, let's see, what time is it? I've only been talking for 45 minutes. That's fine. But yeah, I thought I might work on this page for at least a little bit and kind of see where it takes me. I do have some colored pencils with me, but and I've got my markers as well. That's what I used gouache for the base layer of everything. And then I've brought in some acrylic markers. I started kind of adding some gold. It's kind of hard to see probably. Shimmery gold like here and in here and in here. I'm thinking when I outline, it'll either be with one of the markers, or it will be with like the gold or silver. Like I used silver for the candle. Instead of using black, I don't think I want to have it be so heavy. That's kind of what I'm thinking anyway. So I'm trying to decide. I don't know if the colored pencils are going to work very well, but I might grab some and see. Because the paper's not rough, they might be okay, but I might, not today because they're way over there and I don't want to get up and grab them right now. I might end up bringing in some of the gel crayons because I really like how you can smush those, or maybe even my gelatos, which are the same idea. But I think I might, just for today's sake, for a little bit here, I might work on one of these. Maybe I'll work on this little guy here, this little teacup, because reading and tea of course go hand in hand, at least to me they do. And I will give you one in case. This pomegranate is to represent the movie, not the movie, well, I love the movies, but the books, the Twilight books. An apple is the one that most people would gravitate to. But if you know the book covers, one has a pomegranate, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do a pomegranate. Plus, I love pomegranate. Plus, pomegranate represents, my brain is not going to remember, because of course, oh gosh, she has to go to the Persephone. So, I really like her story. So, anyway, it's kind of multi-purpose, if you will. But I think I'm going to try to use some colored pencils to create some shadows, maybe. I think. I always have kind of a piece of paper off to the side to kind of check the colors. And then I always have, let me take these out. I wonder what I did. Oh, yeah. I have a cup here that I'll put the little shavings in, because you always want your colored pencils to be sharp when you're working with them. I love colored pencils, I really do. I can't tend to do like fully rendered drawings with colored pencils because my carpal tunnel will really act up. Plus, the thing I don't like about colored pencils is the really good ones, like Prismacolor is probably one of my favorites, but and that just broke, which is super annoying as well. They're expensive, and you know, when you're using them, you have to sharpen them all the time. So it's, I just feel like we just go through them so fast, and that's not good. Okay. I think there's something stuck in this one. Let me see here. But I do like working with them. It's just, I tend to do it more for, dang it. Oh, there we go. Yeah. For like shading with other stuff, more of a mixed media. I do like working with colored pencils a lot when it comes to like watercolors is fun, because sometimes it's hard to, okay, that's not working. It's hard to get the like transitions or like soften the shading with watercolors sometimes. So bringing in a color pencil or something can help kind of bridge those together, make it a little bit easier, a little bit smoother transition. Let's see if this works better. Sometimes another thing is I feel like once you get to a certain point with colored pencils too, like if you haven't used them in a while, they like get dried out or something and then they crack off. Anyway, that's my rant. This might not be the right color, but we're gonna try it. I might need to get, because this is kind of a different purple. I'm not sure why I went with that purple. I think because I mixed this purple, which let me tell you, this purple right here, I want my whole room to be this purple. And I absolutely love the look of gouache. Like, I feel like it looks like that really soft, velvety type of material. I love gouache because it has that flat wash to it instead of acrylic paints can be like a little more shiny because they kind of dry like plasticky, I guess, if you will. So gouache I love. And gouache, I explained, there's acrylic gouache, and then I can't remember what the other kind of gouache is. But I feel like if acrylics and watercolors had a baby, this is what gouache is. That's what I always think. So let me see if I like this color. This is violet. I may not like it. It may be too off. Let's see. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. Maybe. There we go. So, yes, I would love to know if you're watching now or if you watch in the future, if you've had different types of sketchbooks and if you've struggled with not wanting to mess them up, because that's always been kind of my biggest issue. I think it's kind of hard to see, but kind of darkening these little areas here. I'm just starting to build the shadows, because when you put the shadows in, then it brings the more, like, this is supposed to be round, so it would have more shading kind of on the sides and down here, because the cup would make a shadow and the lip of the little plate would give a shadow. So it helps to bring things forward and then things to recede. So that's what that's all about. And I can't hardly see that color. I do have some Arteza watercolor pencils too, but I don't like them as much. They're fine. I think they just have like a little bit more filler maybe than the Prismacolor ones. There's another brand of watercolor, or gosh dang, I keep saying watercolor, of colored pencils that are really nice, but gosh dang it, they are expensive. So, and I've kind of, what I need to do is try this one. I wish I made a mistake whenever because got lots of Prismacolor watercolor sets, but I broke them up like apart and put them in things like this or in like big totes or whatever instead of keeping them in their nice tins and everything. And I wish I would have done that. It was more of like an ease to travel, you know, if I was traveling back and forth to places or something like that. But I wish I would have just kept them in that. But I digress. So, what did I just do with the sharpener? Oh boy. Tell you what, I talk and then I can't remember. Oh, here it is. So you live and you learn. If I got new sets, I would definitely keep them together. One thing I do love about Prismacolors as well is you can buy just single pencils. If you, because like you don't have to buy the whole set again, you can just buy the pencil, which is nice. Okay, let's see here. It's kind of hard also because I have this light on right above me, and it causes it to be kind of like a shine, so it's hard for me to see. But if I turn it off, I don't think you'll be able to see, and I don't want to do that to you. So yeah, I think that moving forward, being able to start actually having a little bit more of the process, sharing more of the process, the behind it, maybe, but it's not even really behind the scenes, but the sketchbook to show kind of how I create what I create, and then maybe we can do some different studies together while on a live or something. So you'll have to let me know if there's something you want to really learn how to draw or learn how to do, and we can learn together. That could be fun. So when I'm using colored pencils, and again, they're working pretty good. Again, it's something I don't use that often with this type of like using it with gouache or something. It's usually on color or on watercolors. So I can kind of see it. It's not too bad, but it doesn't stand out quite as much as it does on watercolor paper or watercolors. But it's not too bad. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the shadows there. But I think having a space where, like I said, where we can share it together and give myself permission to not feel like it has to be perfect would be good for me. Because that can be hard, and I would love to know, like I said before, I think, if you struggle with that too. Is it just me? I wouldn't think so, but I think as artists sometimes we only want to really show. Oh, Rosie Gnome says she can see it. Good. We only want to show, it's like YouTubers, if you will, that have whatever channels where they build things or like where they document their life or whatever, and a lot of times they show just the positive things or the fun things instead of like sometimes the real life of stuff. There are some YouTubers that I really love that I feel like do show the hardships sometimes. Like I love Tyler and Todd, the Van Wives, people like that, because sometimes, you know, it's just you don't want to share the harder things or the things that are quote unquote ugly. So but I think that's an important part of learning, right? So I think taking the time to be able to share that with each other could be a good thing. That's what I hope anyway. Now, technically, I do need to kind of render that a little bit more. But it's, so I can struggle right now with this pomegranate because it's on the cup. It's not just a pomegranate. So I can't really, I can like alter the drawing a little bit because like a couple of things are behind and a couple are in front. But I can't color it in necessarily like I would a pomegranate maybe. I'll have to think about that. Because I would do shading and different things a little bit differently, maybe if it was like just sitting here as a pomegranate. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to leave the pomegranate part alone for right now. Just going to have to, because my brain can't deal with that right now. What do I do with those? Oh, here they are. Just can't do it. These are colors I've been using for Fitzy, but I might want to use one in here. Just kind of looking for a brownish one for the tea. I've been having a lot of fun with Fitzy because, what is this? Oh, it's the same. I used colors I have never used before. Like, I created this color myself. It's supposed to be, it's like a wine, like old red, because I want his shirt to look like it's kind of worn. And I didn't want him to be green, and I didn't want him to be blue. So I kind of feel like I created this, like, I don't know. I guess it's more like a grayish, slatey blue, maybe, where he's just, feel like it's not so saturated. And his pants, I can't even remember what color I used. I didn't want him brown. Like, I didn't want him just to be khaki. And I didn't want him to be like blue jeans or anything. So I can't remember the color I used. But to start shading in, I used the colored pencil artichoke. I've never used the colored pencil artichoke before in my life. And then lime peel, I don't think I've ever used that one either. So it's been really fun. Like I said, even though this is a fully rendered, or not quite yet, but will be. I've been really happy experimenting, and that was one of the things I had put that I wanted to start doing in August, was lean into like the ruby reds and the deep purples and the navy blues and the darker types of greens and things like that. I think partly because we're transitioning into fall and those colors kind of speak to me more, but also you saw the pictures that I've done previously, especially like of the Enchanted Garden and things like that. They're really bright, saturated, like colors with a lot of turquoise, pinks, yellow, and I wanted to like stretch myself to try using other colors, and it's been really fun. Like, I've been learning a lot about what colors can go together, about how to use, like, with color mixing and stuff, because I've never technically taken color theory per se, but through learning and trying and experimenting, I've learned a lot. So it's been even more fun to begin doing that even more. So yes. That's where I'm at. What is this color? Oh, that's purple too. Ooh, that's a good purple. Maybe I'll use that just a little bit. So whenever I'm using colored pencils also, I don't, let me bring this over for a second. There's something, it's called brandishing. So your paper is, and your layers and your paper are only going to take so much colored pencil or whatever you're putting on it. So if you want to make an area darker, so you say you start with this color, I'll do a circle real quick. And I want to shade part of it. So I'm just going to be, I kind of just do a back and forth kind of circle-y motion, if you will, following along the shape, like the outer shape of whatever it is, because you'll still see some of the strokes a little bit. And if you want it to look round, you don't want to go across or up and down. So you want to try to kind of go with the same motion of whatever it is that you're coloring. But I'm not pushing down very hard. I use the side kind of, at least for this part of it, I'll use the side a little bit, but I always still want my pencil to be sharp. And I'm not putting a lot of pressure, and that's kind of the thing to remember. I'm just going to do part of it. So say that I want this part to be shaded. So I'm going to color it in with, usually I'll use 3 colors, like a lighter color, a mid-tone, and then a deeper tone. We'll go to this one next. So now I'm not going to go all the way to the first color because you want like a transition. So where it would be a little lighter, getting darker, and then the darkest. But I'm still not pushing down very hard, but now I'm just kind of beginning to create the layer. So I'm just doing the little kind of back and forth circle motions, going not quite up to that part, still going in the direction of the circle. But see, you want it sharp because you want to go right along those edges and you want them to be kind of crisp. So I can kind of start using the tip a little bit more. But again, not pushing very hard. And then I can bring in this darker color. And then again, I won't go up so far. And I'm still not pushing very hard. Just putting another layer on. Because once you push, like if you start like hammering the color in there, then you can't do any more layers because your paper can't accept any more of the pigment, basically. So once you've done kind of all three colors, you can go back to your middle color and go back over the darkest color. Again, not pushing very hard. And then kind of go partly into the color that I used in the middle. But you're going into the darkest color because you're kind of starting to blend those together. And then you can go to the lightest one again. And then you'll go into this color and this color. Like that. Go out a little farther if you need to. And then once you start getting the color how you want it to be, then you can kind of, at the very end, I'll start pushing down a little bit more. But as you're going, you can see, maybe, hopefully, I know this light can be a little bit much, but it's like light, medium, and then dark. But if you're like, oh, I want it to be darker, then you can just go back in with the dark one, and you just keep, you know, building up that color. But you just don't want to push really, really, really hard yet. So hopefully that makes sense. You have to let me know if I don't have a clue what the hell I'm talking about. But anyway, I can stop. When it comes to shading, the idea of having the 3 different colors at least, mid-tone, a lighter tone, and a dark tone, is something that you would always kind of use. You kind of need those 3 in order to create the shadows and the highlights, if you will. So yeah. Okay. Let me, oh yeah, I was looking for the brown for the tea color real quick. Let's see here. What's this? This is, oh, black grape. See, this looks brown to me, but it's actually grape. Let's see what this is. Oh, that's black raspberry. Hilarious. I thought those were browns. Oh, grief. Maybe I'll try. This is dark brown. That should work. It's a little darker than my tea. So I'm going to put a little bit of darkness in that. And then I'm actually going to bring it in a little bit of a lighter brown and a little bit of a lighter purple to bring some highlights forward. Let's see here. So right along this edge of the cup, there would be a bit of a shadow. Depending on where the light comes from. That's something you decide before you would start putting shadows. It's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like I put a lot of my shadows where the light is coming from this side. I need to change that next time. This time it's kind of like where the light is coming straight forward is kind of what I was thinking, which is why there would be a shadow being cast by the lip of the cup. Kind of see that? I could have probably went with a little bit of a darker brown. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring in, I'll finish this one and then I'll probably go for tonight. Let's see, what's this one? This might be too light. Yeah, I don't know about that. What color is that? That is, oh, lilac. Lilac. I do love some purples. That might be a little bit better. We'll see. Let me sharpen it real quick. Anybody doing anything fun this weekend? I'm glad that I'll be home. I came home Sunday, and then have been pet sitting all week. So that's why I actually had to have my live tonight instead of last night. And then let's see if this might be too light, but I was going to kind of try to put a little bit of a highlight. You can obviously use white, but I like to first kind of use a version of whatever color it is that I, painted with first. So I'm only putting this kind of more highlighty, lighter color right at the front of the cup. Again, this wasn't really going to be a tutorial. And again, the lighting, ugh. I didn't have this light on either. I don't know if that would help or hurt. There we go. There we go. Okay. So I'm just kind of adding it right here in the front. And then I'll add a little bit up here. I only want to use a little bit because I don't want to lose the purple color that I already put down. So I'm just using it kind of sparingly in a couple of little spots. Maybe a little bit back here where the light would technically be hitting it. And then I always bring in like white and black Posca markers a lot. I won't bring the black in, I don't think, because as I said earlier, I'm kind of using more of the color that I used as far as the acrylic markers or silver and gold. But I probably will still bring in white to put in some little highlights because I can't help it. We'll see. We shall see. But you can kind of see, hopefully, it's like a little bit lighter here, and then you can see like the darkness in these other little areas. But I can kind of see the darkness in the tea, but I probably could have went a little bit darker. Maybe dark umber. Maybe. Try that real quick. Tomorrow's my mom's birthday, so I'm gonna celebrate with her a little bit. My son turned 18 this week, so that's a big deal. He gets to vote this year, which is pretty cool. He said he went and bought a lottery card because he could. I'm like, you're not going to start gambling. He's like, no, I'm not going to gamble. He just wanted to try it, which whatever. So there, it's not so flat like it was when I first started, which is cool. That's kind of the whole point of all the shadows and stuff. I'm still going to think about that. Because I guess if you got a cup and it had a picture or something on it, the picture itself might be rendered and then slapped on the cup. Right? But I'm going to think about that a little bit more. Oh, I didn't color in. I didn't even color in the tea bag at all, not even with paint. Maybe I'll just use this brown just to give it. I'll start with this brown and then I'll probably bring in a little bit of a more warmer brown, I guess. This is dark brown, but I'll put one little layer on here, and I may end up going over that with marker. We'll see. We shall see. So, okay. Well, I think I'm going to maybe call it a day. It's been an hour and, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. Mostly I didn't shut up, and that's okay. There will not be a new YouTube video tomorrow because I had released 2 videos earlier in the month where we did Worried Winston. Love him so much. Maybe I'll link that video to this video. I will be going live again next week, and I did want to show, there's 2 things I want to show you real quick. Let's see. Okay. For the end of this month, I always like to create like a reflections page or something just to kind of look back on maybe, you know, what you might have learned, what we might have learned, and then just kind of checking in with ourselves as well. So I have Turning the Page. It's a late summer reflection, so I'm kind of doing it as like a look back maybe for the last several months, and then kind of a little bit looking to the future. I don't like the word goal or anything like that. It's just kind of thinking ahead of things you might want to bring with you or things like that. So this is available on my Patreon. It is for paid members, but I just wanted to show it. No big deal if you aren't interested, but I always like to tell people in case you want to check it out. And then this is just a little teaser for next month. I'm just going to show you one little part, but this is the September, so that can give you a little bit of an idea, and I'm so excited. So next week's live, I'll have to look at my calendar, but will more than likely be Thursday. I do like to generally have them on Thursdays. Sherry, thank you so much. Sherry says, nice live. Thank you. I really appreciate you being here so much, and for chatting a little bit. I always appreciate that as well. But Thursday's live will be, I'll be introducing September and like the theme and what we're going to be doing, and maybe we'll have a little actual sketchbook session. And I'll have Fitzy done by then. I could share him with you. So thank you so much for being here if you were here during the live, and then thank you to anyone and everyone who watches the replay. I'm going to end up posting this video. It'll be posted twice because I'm posting it again with the stupid part at the beginning where where my mic was muted. I'm never muting my mic ever. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for being here tonight. It was really fun for me, and I'm glad I got to kind of share my idea. And yeah, let me know, like I said earlier, in the comments if you have a sketchbook too, if you're going to come along with me. And I will see you guys very soon. Remember, I'm in the community tab here on YouTube. I do have a Facebook. I'm on Instagram, and then I have the Patreon, and all those links will be in the description box of this video. Okay? So Rosie Num says, thanks for sharing. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys very soon. So stay luminous and keep creating magic. Bye.